The title of this video is Hidden Reasons Good Intentions Don't Work. You've no doubt heard the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's often a cautionary tale that good intentions without corresponding actions can at least sometimes lead to unintended or even disastrous consequences. In other words, it's about the difference between what someone intends to do and what they actually do. People can sometimes have what they think are the very best of intentions, but if they don't follow through, their efforts could possibly lead them into a worse situation than before. So merely wishing to do good is not enough without meaningful follow-through. Even the noblest of aspirations may backfire, causing more harm than good. Now, that is certainly one way to interpret that saying. And perhaps maybe that's even the one the original speaker had in mind centuries ago. And yet, if we examine the phrase through a deeper lens, we find that the words themselves tell a much richer and more profound story. Good intentions must stem from your deepest inner beliefs and desires. In other words, they must be congruent with both your conscious and your subconscious intentions and beliefs. In many cases, your positive intention is undermined by negative subconscious programming. Now, maybe you haven't realized it before, but if you have beliefs and intentions about everything in your life that are not congruent with what you would want, then there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to be able to attract or manifest what you want. You know, before you had anything come in your life, you probably had some intentions about it. For instance, let's say that you were thinking about moving. Well, you had to think about where you wanted to move and think about, well, do I want to buy or do I want to rent? What part of town should I live in? How much should I spend? So, we have thoughts about all kinds of things of what we want. And these thoughts and good intentions are what actually move your life in the directions where you find yourself heading. All of your choices and decisions stem from intentions. In other words, what you want and intend. Good intentions are, in truth, the cornerstone of every strong relationship. They're the cornerstone of a vibrant community and a fulfilled life. They are the silent architects behind acts of compassion and kindness and understanding. Imagine what a relationship would be like, or even a civilization would be like, if there were no good intentions. Well, relationships would fall apart. Civilizations would collapse. So yes, good intentions are the cornerstone of successful positive outcomes. They are the driving force behind strong communities, fulfilling relationships. And yet, however, even if good intentions, often negative consequences happen. So, good intentions are not the problem. Then what is? Well, there are forces that undermine your good intentions. What are they? As long as your good intentions don't have negative counter programs running in your subconscious mind, then you'll energize creative forces and attractions for good results. But the programming that most people have, which shapes their intentions, is a combination of positive, supportive, loving ideals, along with limiting, self-doubting negative beliefs. For instance, you might be thinking, I'd love to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, but it probably wouldn't last. And if I did get it, I'd probably just lose it anyway. Well, in cases like these, even A small amount of negativity or doubt can undermine a mountain of positive hope and dreams. And this is why sometimes the best of good intentions don't manifest a positive outcome. But that is not because there was something wrong with the good intention. Rather, the good intentions were undermined with subconscious, unconscious beliefs, programs that sabotaged a positive outcome. Most of what motivates you are your beliefs and programs that function and operate at an unconscious level. You are most likely not even aware of most of them. Some of the negative programming comes from your conclusions about what you've witnessed or experienced yourself over many years. But also, many sources of the programmings come from what others have projected at you or on you over the years. Companies pay a lot of money to advertising agencies to convince you that you want what they sell. And so then you, in turn, by seeing and hearing these promotions over and over, you begin to believe that you need what they're selling you. Well, thankfully, you can recognize this and you can override most of the negative programming. So it doesn't matter what you've believed or how traumatic the circumstances may have been. You can gain a positive control over your life. Life will give you what you expect, not necessarily what you want. But here's the hook. What you really expect is what your subconscious believes. And that might be the opposite of what you think consciously that you want and believe. And this is why there are so many people living lives that are not happy. Your subconscious mind tends to fixate on whatever negative belief and opinion you have. And then it works to bring about the manifestation of what it's fixated on, whether it's positive or negative. You see, the subconscious doesn't really care one way or the other. It just has the job or the assignment of attracting and creating what you've programmed it to attract and create. But the subconscious forces are what undermine your good intentions. Your subconscious mind naturally orients your life to attract and create what you don't want if that's what you've put the most energy into. And if that's what you feel the strongest about. Now, one of the very strongest energies is fear. You probably have a strong aversion or fear of certain circumstances, and these feelings are what serve to energize your subconscious mind, and therefore that's what it will attract or create. And this is because your subconscious mind fixates its attention on what you feel the strongest about, and fear just happens to be one of the strongest of all emotions. Now, the good news is that you can make this trait of the subconscious work for you by simply positively energizing your thoughts about what you do want. In the subtle realm of energy and manifestation, intentions are the seeds from which reality blossoms. They are the invisible blueprints for the life that you end up experiencing. Although results may not always be immediate, consistent and deeply held good intentions eventually do produce tangible outcomes. From the time you are a little child, you've been absorbing input from all of the people around you, and you've been forming conclusions about what is true or what is good and what isn't. You took on, or you rejected, the opinions of others. You analyzed outcomes and judged and stored all these outlooks, and these became the operating systems that you've been basing your whole life on. This is how you formed your inner thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. including all your beliefs about yourself. They are what form your self-image. Now, most of the time, this happens without you paying much attention to the process. But nonetheless, it goes on almost nonstop. Sometimes it comes in twinges, like in your gut, and you talk about having, what does your gut feeling say about it? Or you feel like there's a weight on your shoulders, or there's a tightness in your neck. Or you might say, boy, that guy's a real pain in the neck. Or maybe a tightness in your chest. And at other times, it can be a forceful opinion that you are committed to, or something that triggers an emotional reaction. Think about this. Every time you hear or see something happening, you automatically form an opinion about it and store it in your memories. And your memories formulate your ideas, your beliefs, your pictures of how you see life. Over time, you have a pretty big storehouse of self-concepts and projections of how you think the world operates. And you tend to attract more and more similar ideas that agree with your own. So you are then convinced that what you think is true because most of what you listen to and watch are people saying what you agree with. The longer you've believed something to be true, the more true it seems to be true. But many of the beliefs are really opinions, no matter how strongly you believe in them. The vast storehouse of everything that's ever happened in your life, everything you've ever felt, failures and successes, happiness and unhappiness, as well as every idea and conclusion about yourself. You've grown up with all these, and they have all influenced the formation of how you see yourself. And that's what's stored in your subconscious mind. So you've essentially brainwashed yourself into your beliefs, and then you tenaciously hold on to them. But that's not a guarantee that they are absolute truth. Many martyrs have died for their beliefs that form the perspective of many martyrs have died for their beliefs. And from the perspective of other people, was completely nuts or mythological or complete fantasies. Now, if you thought some negative things about yourself when you were young, some of those beliefs may have become what you believe to be true in your subconscious mind now. So then you look for facts to validate your truth, or you search out other people who agree with you, and they reinforce your beliefs, and that embeds them more strongly in your subconscious. Normally, your conscious mind monitors what's going on into your subconscious, and it might even edit or add commentary to the input. For example, suppose you hear the statement, "You are so smart." Your conscious mind may respond by saying, "Are you kidding me? Me smart? I don't really think so. I never got straight A's in school." So with responses like this, your subconscious rejects the new positive input that you are smart. If you own some negative ideas about yourself, your subconscious mind then directs your life to conform to the negative person you believe yourself to be. There are all kinds of thoughts like this that just about everybody has. Here's a couple examples. There feels like there's something wrong with me. No matter what I try, it doesn't work. I seem to have bad luck all the time. I'm just like my father or my mother. Oh no, what next? When it comes to my eating habits, I really can't help myself. I never get a break. If only I were taller or more talented or smarter or had more money or were better looking. Life is so unfair, and I'm not good enough. If I get it, I'll just lose it. If something can go wrong, it surely will. You probably had one or more of these negative statements. They might run through your mind periodically. Have you ever noticed how your life subtly shaped itself around your past decisions and long-held thoughts? Perhaps you once debated whether to rent or buy a home, whether to move to a certain part of town, or maybe what kind of a partner you hope to find. Your thoughts, dreams, and intentions about these decisions preceded their manifestation. They were not random. They were directed by your conscious and unconscious intentions. Every choice, every fork in the road, stemmed from seeds of thought planted long before. Good intentions alone are not enough. What too often sabotages even the brightest hope is the hidden negative programming buried deeply within your subconscious mind. Most people's mental and emotional programming is a tangled mix woven from love and support and optimism to limitation and self-doubt and negativity. Well, unfortunately, even a small thread of unconscious fear or self-doubt can unravel an otherwise magnificent tapestry of hope and positive vision and intentions. It's not that there's anything wrong with your good intention. It's that competing unconscious beliefs contaminated them. Often these unconscious counter-programs stem from early childhood experiences, conditioning you to conclude from your school experiences and family influences or other painful life events. And because they operate silently below the level of conscious awareness, you rarely realize that they're even there until you witness the outcomes they produce. So ask yourself, have you ever honestly pursued a goal only to feel inexplicably blocked or sabotaged? Do you sometimes feel like no matter how hard you try, something unseen is pulling you backward? Well, the answer often lies in the invisible battlefield of your subconscious mind. Life will give you what you subconsciously expect and believe. It's not what you wish for or what you want. Now, here's one of life's most profound and sometimes painful truths. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you expect at the subconscious level. And your subconscious mind is indifferent to your conscious hopes and desires. It relentlessly fixates on the emotional frequencies you broadcast most powerfully. And those are things like fear and guilt and hate and anger and doubt. Those being some of the strongest emotions. And they're the ones that often and maybe usually win out. If you harbor deep fear of failure, loss, rejection, or poverty, your subconscious mind will energetically orient your reality around those fears, and it'll attract situations that match them, even if you consciously wish for the exact opposite. So here's an example. Suppose you feel annoying fear of being abandoned. Your subconscious energy may attract a partner to you who is emotionally unavailable. If you fear financial instability, you might find yourself living paycheck to paycheck despite your hard work. But here is the saving grace. The same mechanism that once worked against you can be reprogrammed to work for you. And fortunately, you can reprogram the beliefs that run in your subconscious mind by utilizing some of the same techniques that put the programs there in the first place. And repetition is one of the best ways to reach the subconscious mind. So it's important to develop a positive relationship with yourself. And this includes respecting yourself, being positively oriented toward yourself, stating positive things about yourself. For instance, I respect and value myself. I appreciate and love my body. Every day I am becoming more positive, healthy, and successful. So, at first, when you repeat statements like those, they may bring up a questioning mind or maybe a negative response from your mind to discount the validity of the statement. So you might feel some kind of a resistance or a skepticism or maybe even a ridicule. This is normal. Persist anyway. Every repetition weakens the old programming and strengthens the new. You can also record some of these kind of positive programs and other positive affirmations that you like and play them. Record them on your portable device, your phone or your laptop or your tablet, and listen to them while you're exercising, while you're commuting, while you're preparing for the day. Keep saturating your mind over and over. Put them on play and repeat automatically when you're falling asleep at night. So you can have sleep programming and get it into your subconscious mind. Your unconscious beliefs will often surface as gut feelings, anxiety, tension in your body, reactive emotions, invisible walls blocking your progress. They tend to cluster together into self-fulfilling prophecies, and they become something like a truth that you live by and affects your life. Often you don't even question whether these beliefs are objective reality, or maybe they're inherited assumptions, like where did they even come from? So ask yourself, could some of my beliefs actually be false? Could most of my beliefs about life be false? And here's a good one. What would a person have to believe to create what I have in my life right now? That could be a very sobering question to answer. What would a person have to believe to create what I have in my life right now? And when you answer that question honestly, you'll understand why your life is what it is. Reprogramming your subconscious can turn good intentions into reality. The power to change your life lies not in greater effort, but in changing your internal programming. The subconscious mind learns primarily through repetition, emotional intensity, and vivid imagery. The same techniques that embedded negative beliefs can now be used to embed positive, empowering ones. This is the path to making sure your good intentions finally produce good, positive outcomes that you've always known you deserve. If you've not yet explored my 14-day quick self-clearing program or discover your core issues, you are probably sabotaging yourself or at least undermining a lot of your good and positive intentions. Or maybe you feel like you're stuck. Maybe you feel like you're not progressing in the ways you've hoped to. There are some simple, essential tools that could dissolve years or even decades of unconscious sabotage. And now that you understand this, you can reboot your entire world by reprogramming your subconscious mind and ensure that all your good intentions will finally bloom into beautiful, abundant reality. So until next time, keep bringing your inner thoughts to focus on and repeat positive outcomes. I'll see you next time. I'm Jonathan Parker.